Why is it when men want a traditional woman, they're ridiculed, but for women it's okay? If you see it on Reddit, it's because Reddit. People vary widely. My grandmother was stigmatized for returning to work after having kids. Me mom was stigmatized for being a SAHP and only working part-time in a business started by Psalms. For flexibility, the answer is you cannot win the public opinion. Do your thing and don't worry so much about other people. If folks stigmatize you for your life choices, then they are not your people. If everyone stigmatizes you though, then that is maybe on you. A SAHP is amazing for children's development. It provides security and stability in the fragile child emotional sense. Children get more one-on-one care, generally, and have more opportunity for development, depending on the time availability and efforts of said parent. They also contribute an est 100K of value if someone outsourced all the traditional housekeeping and daycare jobs. Not saying people actually live up to this, but it is a lot of work. I think it is great, but I don't hold it as a norm or a rule or a demand. Relationships depend on the individuals involved. What they decide works for them is none of my business unless it harms someone. From what I've read, found your problem. I wish people would just look for exactly what they want and not care so much about what other people want. You don't need to mock or belittle people who do not fit your standards. Regardless of gender, I wish people would not put their race or gender down when discussing their preferences. That man you described is not what I want. I do not expect 6 figures. But I would look for the potential, desire to earn 6 figures. I also want to earn 6 figures. And have plans to achieve that goal. I prefer a man closer to my height. I've never cared about fixing cars or killing spiders. I just want someone who isn't religious, likes quality time, likes being a homebody, and doesn't mind going to the orchestra and won't judge me for reading, watching yaoi, BL. Maybe it's because I grew up with a pretty unreliable dad that the most I care about is reliability and quality time. From what I've read, Op sits in his study puffing an English pipe and reading The Female Opinion. Reading your replies, it's obvious that you get your life perspective from social media and you should stop that immediately. It's not healthy and will just turn women off from you more. You should turn off all social media and socialize in the real world. The biggest reason why men are criticized for wanting a trad wife is because a lot of times their reasoning is they want someone submissive, naive, easy to control, and a trad wife has no power. The main reasons why some women who may prefer more traditional men isn't as criticized as much is because that role doesn't take away power from the man. The only thing that does is annoy other men. Degrading yourself equals okay, degrading others equals not okay. Being a traditional woman comes with tons of problems. You don't make money? Then you are solely reliant on your husband for money. Go on any relationship sub and you'll see so many women saying that their husbands control all the money and they are in poverty while their husbands are okay. Or, if you have a good husband, you're reliant on him keeping his job or not falling onto hard times. If you divorce, he thinks that you shouldn't get financial support even though he's ascended his career because of you caring for everything else. It's incredibly dangerous to be a traditional woman. I don't think that's the case for everyone, but I think it's more widely accepted to want traditional men because their roles aren't ones based in oppression. Traditional roles often means the man is treated as the king of the house, whereas the woman is typically in the role of essentially not being treated as an equal. Wanting a traditional man seems more about wanting to feel safe and stable partner, whereas wanting a traditional woman seems more like suggesting a person wants a house servant who answers to them. Again, I don't think every situation is like this. I'm just answering why people react a certain way and how things might be perceived. Usually because the hypocritical and misogynistic men are the loudest who want a traditional woman, and the actual men who live that lifestyle aren't obnoxious about it. Both sexes get ridiculed for their hypocritical behavior by everyone for being the loudest about it. I'm guessing that you're going to get a lot of pushback regarding your initial premise. In most of the subs I've been in that deal with relationships. It seems to me that the traits a lot of female Redditors want in a guy include being kind, supportive, and generally not scary or abusive, to dress adequately and have good hygiene. Sense of humor is pretty common. I mean, the bar is actually quite attainable. If not low. Don't be a smelly jackass. I can't say I've seen an overwhelming amount of women say they want the characteristics you described. I'm sure some do, but I don't think it's fair to say it's the majority or even a high percentage. Are you encountering a lot of women who say they want this? Based on your post and comments, I'm guessing you are getting this info from people like Andrew Tate or other toxic pickup artists. Your worldview of women is toxic, my man. Be better. Because traditional women were property. Traditional men were not. From what I've read, is the wild card here. That could mean anything from reading peer-review-ed studies to reading incel subreddits. Your conclusions will only be as good as the sources you base them on. That's a traditional man? Killing spiders? Shoot. Looks like our definitions have greatly changed over the years. Traditionally, the man is head of the house. Traditionally, the woman is housewife and caregiver for children. If a woman wants this life, that's cool. But not every woman wants to be in that role. Considering the stigma surrounding traditional female roles, there are plenty of people who think this should be the only role for a woman, which creates problems in a society that values independence. We have both factions in America, and toxic masculinity does come into play. I know plenty of people who think the traditional man has a negative impact, myself included, so I guess it depends where you're from. If a couple decides that they want to live that lifestyle, it shouldn't matter to anyone else. It's when people start telling other people how they should live that it's a problem. From what I've read, women want a tall masculine man who solves their problems, such as killing spiders, fixing a car, is stoic, makes more money than them, etc. But when men want a non-promiscuous woman who would cook and clean, he is labeled as insecure, and how his masculinity is threatened. Step 1. Stop taking advice from men about HWAT women seek in men. Step 2. Realize that women aren't a hive mind, and what is extremely romantic for one woman is cringe to the other. Step 3. Realize that you'll find a compatible partner and should be yourself rather than faking being someone you're not and being with people who are attracted to something you're not. Wanting someone with lower body count is instantly met with accusations of insecurity on Reddit, but that is just people with high body counts feeling called out. They also assume that you have that preference for purity rather than just having a different value for sex, and therefore think you must be an incel. Have your standards and don't let people tell you you aren't allowed to have them. I can agree with you if your source is Reddit or social media in general. Honestly, in real life, I don't know anyone who shames people who want a traditional partner, man or woman, nor do I know women who go by the 666 rule, although I believe they exist somewhere. Where are they ridiculed? Because the internet is not a real place.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Aircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.